Hello and welcome to this video on alcohol nomenclature and properties. My name is Ochem, and in this video we'll be working through the steps in alcohol nomenclature. To name an alcohol, we want to first figure out the longest chain that contains the alcohol group. Then we drop the E ending and we replace it with the OL to indicate the alcohol. For example, if I wanted to name this molecule, follow the usual rules for naming an alkane chain. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons, making it a pent prefix. And remember, we drop that E, we add the OL to indicate the alcohol. We also want to make sure to number the carbon chain to give the hydroxy group the lowest number. So the numbering would start from the right. And since the hydroxy group is on the 1 carbon, this would be 1-pentanol. How would the name change if we took that same 1-pentanol and we added another hydroxy group? In order to name this molecule, we keep the E ending. So since this is a 5-carbon chain, this would be a pentane. We add in the positions of the hydroxy groups after the alkene chain name, remembering to number the carbon chain to give those hydroxy groups the lowest value. In this case, there are hydroxy groups on the 1 and 4 carbon. And finally, we add in a suffix to indicate the number of hydroxy groups. Since there are 2 hydroxy groups, this would be a diol. So the name of the second molecule would be pentane 1,4-diol. Our apply question asks us to determine the IUPAC nomenclature of the following alcohols. Starting with the molecule on the top left under A, we notice first that there's only 1 hydroxy group on this molecule. Also note that there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons, making this a hex and all. Remember, we drop the E and we add the OL to indicate the hydroxy. And finally, we want to make sure to number the carbon chain so that the hydroxy group is on the lowest carbon. This molecule is 1-hexanol. For molecule B, we'll notice that there are 2 hydroxy groups. Now, it would be tempting to pick the longest chain as the parent chain right here, but notice that that would only encompass 1 out of the 2 hydroxy groups. Instead, we need to pick a chain that would grab both of them. We can see that there are 5 carbons in the parent chain, giving this the pentane as a backbone. And notice that in this case, because we have multiple hydroxy groups, we keep the E ending. The hydroxys are on the 2 and 4 position. And because there are 2 hydroxy groups, the ending would be diol. However, we can't forget that additional alkyl group on carbon 3. The alkyl functional group has 1, 2, 3 carbons, making this molecule 3-propylpentane 2,4-diol. For our last molecule, you'll notice that there are 3 hydroxy groups. So we need to use that second set of naming rules. The parent chain is 1, 2, 3 carbons long, giving the name propane. And remember that since there are multiple hydroxy groups, we keep the E ending. There are hydroxy groups on every one of the carbons, so on positions 1, 2, and 3, and it would have the ending triol to indicate all of those hydroxy groups. So the IUPAC name for molecule C is propane 1,2,3-triol, or more commonly known as glycerol. Using the skills developed in this lesson, make sure you follow up with lots of practice on determining the IUPAC nomenclature of alcohols.